Welcome back to the next episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation Next Tournament here on the HomeBoiz channel. Today we're going to have Dimitri going up against Jesse Anderson. Now, Dimitri was an episodical character who stole Yugimoto's Battle City deck, but I didn't want to just copy-paste Yugi's deck from the other tournament we did, so instead I spiced things up and gave him a lot of his brand new archetype support cards that have come out within like the past 5 years. So, on one side, you have the Gaia the Fierce Knight archetype, right? Both in the main and the side decks. And they're all level 7s because they're actually meant to work with the Blackluster Soldier monsters. Some of them are light, some of them are dark, so you can banish for the Envoy at the beginning. But also, in general, they, even though they're very, very specific, and they're very conditional, you can summon all of the Gaia monsters either by a special summon, or you can normal summon without a tribute, but then they lose attack points, and only in specific situations. And they actually do have 2 Curse of Dragon retrains, the Curse of Dragonfire and the Curse of Dragon Cursed Dragon, along with some brand new fusion monsters. Then, like I mentioned, you have the Blackluster Soldier, both the Envoy, and here in this side deck, you have the ritual stuff, this Super Soldier, alongside 3 different ritual spells, which can actually, it's really, really nice. He even has a field spell who can search ritual spells. The more that cards go into the graveyard, it works off of a counter system. You have the Skilled Darks and the Skilled Blues. These 2 are your best monsters just because they're no tribute and they're fat beat sticks at 18 and 19 each. So that's super, super good. That and Skilled Blue and Skilled Dark, they get counters every time someone uses a spell. Then you can tribute them when they have 3 to summon a Gaia monster or a Dark Magician from literally anywhere. Speaking of Dark Magician, that's the most consistent side of your deck. Magician's Rod especially, since he can search a lot of your cards, so you can either summon a Dark Magician straight from your deck, give one or DMG some protection and an attack point boost. You know, you can start banishing stuff and stack your top 3 cards. It's honestly ridiculous what you can do with that side of the deck. And there's just way too much to really get into, so I'm gonna really be fast forwarding through Dimitri's deck. You have Dark Cavalry, and you can actually bring this out with this quick play spell, which is really, really good. So with this quick play, you can fusion or ritual summon, as long as you use either Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as one of the materials, which is really good because, especially if you have a field full of monsters, you can either get in 1 extra really big attack, or you can use this on your opponent's turn to dodge like a destruction effect or something like that. So there's a lot of potential, but Dark Cavalry can negate cards, and the more spells and traps that are on the field and in both graveyards, the stronger he gets. Plus he does piercing damage, and here are the 2 monsters. Specifically for the Gaia fusions, I want to go over Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons. So every time he kills a monster, he'll get 2600 extra attack points. And he can actually be supported by the Spiral Spear Strike to give him some piercing damage. But then on top of that, during both players' main phases, you can get rid of 2600 to destroy any other card on the field. Even though that's really, really, steep price to pay, the fact that you can just regain it back or more every time he kills someone is absolutely beautiful for this. The side deck is filled with all of the Gaia / Blackluster Soldier support that are in here, specifically the fusion spell for the Gaia monsters, the ritual, and 2 traps for the Gaia and Curse of Dragon cards. The best 2 would be Bombarding Catapult Turtle, because he can summon any Gaia monster or any one of your level 5 dragons from your hand or your deck at the cost of tributing any monster on the field, including itself. Then Super Soldier, it does damage of the attack points of any monster he kills, and when he dies, you can summon Gaia the Fierce Knight from hand, deck, or graveyard. And what's amazing about him is there's ways to actually ritual summon him using your deck and using your graveyard. And the best 2 monsters to use are the Beginning and the Evening Twilight Knights, because not only do they give him a really easy setup for the Envoy of the Beginning, potentially. Beginning Night lets him banish a monster on your opponent's field and get the whole I can attack twice effect if I kill someone. Then Evening Twilight Night lets him banish another monster and can also banish an opponent's card from their hand for, I believe, 2 whole turns. So really amazing stuff. However, since it is a lot of high level monsters and a lot of very situational cards, it's gonna rely on lots of luck and to some degree, at least a lot more than other decks will. So lots of luck to Dimitri. Let's take a look at Jesse. So Jesse has the Crystal Beast deck, and the whole gimmick is when they're going to be destroyed, you can put them in the spell trap card zone instead. I'm going to refer to this as them becoming gems or crystals. And when you have 7 crystals in your field or graveyard, you can bring out the Rainbow Dragon, as long as you have 7 of different names. Putting them in your spell trap zone is actually very nice, because that's how you activate a lot of the spells and traps in your deck. The best monsters outside of Rainbow Dragon, he could potentially wipe the entire field by tributing himself, but for the most part he's really just a fat beat stick and you almost never want to use his effect. The best 3 monsters are Crystal Beast, Sapphire, Pegasus. It can put any Crystal Beast from your deck or graveyard as a crystal, which can let you use other spells and traps, or it can also just be used to thin your deck in general. Topaz Tiger can actually reach up to 2,000 if it's fighting a monster. And Ruby Carbuncle is the #1 in this deck, because when she's special summoned, Ruby can actually summon all of your different crystals back, as many as possible. And if it's a crystal, it can use its effect to special summon itself. So very awesome. That's abusable with Beacon, which can summon a Crystal Beast from your deck, and Crystal Bond, which does summon a Crystal Beast from your deck and gives you another search on top of that. So very amazing. Crystal Release can give monsters 800 points, and when it leaves, you can put a crystal out of your deck. Rare Value gets rid of one of your crystals to draw 2 cards. Rainbow Ruins can potentially reduce battle damage, maybe negate some card effects, and it can let you draw a card every turn. It can also protect itself as long as you have a crystal. Rainbow Path can negate an attack and then search for your Rainbow Dragon. And my favorite trap card is the Ultimate Crystal Magic, because when a Crystal Beast monster gets destroyed by battle, and it doesn't have to go to the graveyard, it can go to your spell trap zone instead. You can get rid of 7 Crystal Beasts with different names between your hand, field, and graveyard to bring out your fusion monster, the Rainbow Overdragon. If you don't want to do it this way, Rainbow Overdragon can also be summoned by tributing your Rainbow Dragon. And the Rainbow Overdragon has the same field reset by sacrificing itself, but this time it's a quick effect. So you could use this when your opponent's in the middle of popping off to completely disrupt all of their plays, send everything back to the deck, and leave them with potentially nothing, depending on what's in their hand. Or you can banish Crystal Beasts in your graveyard to add their attack points for until the end of the turn. So not bad, and this Xyz could maybe get back banished monsters, but it's not really an amazing card. It's just kind of here for potential. As for the side deck, Crystal Conclave, whenever your Crystal Beasts are destroyed by battle or card effect, you can summon another beast from your deck once per turn. It can also tribute itself to target a Crystal Beast and any card on your opponent's field and send them back to the hand. So that's some really nice disruption there, as well as a nice floating ability to help get through your deck faster. Rainbow Bridge can search all of your spells and traps. The 2 Pendulum monsters. Their pendulum effects help protect your monsters from being destroyed once per turn, and that's both the Crystal Beasts and the Crystal God monsters. Then the Crystal Master can actually prevent them from being targeted by card effects. As for the monster effects, Crystal Master contribute itself to search for any of your cards, and the Crystal Keeper can be used to double the attack and defense of your Crystal Beast monsters. Then finally you have Rainbow Dragon, the Zenith Crystal Beast. So this, mini Rainbow Dragon here can summon itself from your hand for free when a Crystal Beast monster battles. you can banish it from your continuous as a continuous spell, excuse me, to summon a crystal beast from your deck but negate its effects. But if you do summon that beast, you get to search for your rainbow dragon. And then lastly, if it gets destroyed, you can move it into your spell and trap card zone just like the other crystal beasts. So that's honestly really amazing, and Jesse has a lot of potential in this tournament. Let's see how this goes. Let the duel begin. Looks like Dimitri's actually going to be taking turn 1 here, so no draw for him. So it looks like Jesse's going to be taking turn 1 here, and already they have some pretty interesting hands. Dimitri hand has a lot of potential, and on the other hand, it looks like Jesse really bricked hard with 2 field spells and 2 Ruby Carbuncles, but Crystal Bond can actually fix all of that once he pops the field spell. So Crystal Bond will put a Sapphire Pegasus in his hand, or, you know, any other crystal beast that he would have liked, while also putting another crystal beast as a crystal. So here he's actually going to go ahead and put Amber Mammoth, and typically when you're going to make somebody a crystal, especially when you get to do it from like your deck or your graveyard or whatever, you normally want to go ahead and pick something that's a little weaker, something that's going to be a lot less usable for yourself in the duel. However, since he has access to the Ruby Carbuncle already, whenever he gets to activate her effect and special summon her, he'll have a strong monster to bring out, and he'll actually have 3 monsters to bring out on the next turn if he summons the Sapphire Pegasus. So now his situation looks a lot better, and with 1 crystal on the field, the Rainbow Ruins cannot be destroyed by card effects. So passing it over to Dimitri. Dimitri here is going to open up with the skill Dark Magician, and he's going to get counters every time anybody uses a spell card. Once it has 3, it could evolve into the infamous, or the famous, I should say, Dark Magician. So he's going to easily swing over Ruby and pass turn. Going back over to Jesse, Rainbow Dragon has a lot of, you know, it's a really good monster to have on the field, but he's definitely not in a position where he'll be able to summon it anytime soon. So it's actually a little unfortunate to see the Rainbow Dragon here, but you know, if he could stay alive and if he could get some more crystals into his graveyard or wherever, then it could really be a game changer for Jesse. So he's going to go ahead and summon the Sapphire Pegasus. He did what I mentioned earlier. He got an Amethyst Cat out onto the field because it's not going to be very useful to him if he were to draw it. So passing back over to Dimitri, he's going to run over really quick, and while he has, I believe it's when you have it's when you have 2 crystals, once per turn you can cut battle damage in half. So he's actually going to cut this 1800 damage he would have taken down to only 900 points. And now that he has 4 crystals, once per turn on his turn, he can draw an extra card. So he's going to be starting to go through his deck a lot faster now. Also, with all these cards in play, you know, Ruby Carbuncle can, you know, load up his field with 4 monsters. So it's going to be some really convenient defense that's going to be difficult to really get over. And since Sapphire Pegasus got summoned again, now you have 5 of the 7 crystal beasts available to you. And Amethyst Cat can go ahead and attack directly whenever she pleases, the downside being that she does half the damage, hence why Dimitri only took 600 instead of 12. And then Sapphire Pegasus is going to crash into this 1800 so that Dimitri overall has less monsters on the field, because we all know that it's just going to go to the spell card zone anyways. Going back over to Dimitri now to see what he's going to do. He's going to set a bunch of cards, and he gets to normal summon Charging Gaia the Fierce Knight. And you can do this without tribute summoning, even though it's a level 7, but then it's going to shrink down to 1900. So now, by discarding a level 5 or higher monster in his hand, he can special summon Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin. And even though it only has 1600, one, it's stronger than 2 of Jesse's 3 monsters currently on the field, and most importantly, it got another card out of his hand so that Dimitri can get the maximum benefits off of the spell card, Card of Sanctity. Now, the anime effect of Card of Sanctity lets both players draw until they both have 6 cards in hand. Since Jesse's been bricking, he's only going to get 2 cards, while Dimitri's going to get all 6. So he's really capitalized well here, getting another spell counter and getting a field spell, which not only lets him search for a Gaia monster to thin his deck a little bit more, but will give Skill Dark Magician an additional counter. So now, Using the effect of the skilled blue magician in the graveyard, it can banish itself to put a spell counter on any monster on the field. Or actually, I believe on any card on the field. So now the skilled dark magician can evolve into the classic dark magician monster. And whenever cards go to the graveyard, the field spell will start to get counters too. This will let him search for a ritual spell. I don't think Dimitri's deck on round 1 has ritual monsters, but it's just a good way to, you know, really shorten your deck a little bit. And seeing the pot of greed after the card of sanctity, that means that Dimitri's drawn 8 cards and he searched one, so he's gone through, oh my god, a graceful charity right after that too, holy shit. So he's gone through 12 cards of his deck in a single turn. That's actually amazing, and he managed to hit the 1,000 Knives. So he destroys the Amber Mammoth here, not just because it's the strongest monster, but because Amber Mammoth can take the hit for any other crystal beast. So by getting rid of that, they're able to freely attack into Amethyst Cat and do the maximum amount of damage possible to Jesse, which is what's going to happen here. He decided not to let these go into the crystal zone, and I'm not particularly sure why, but if I had to guess, I would say it's because, you know, without Amber Mammoth, this trap card it actually can't be activated. So if they were to put a crystal here, they would lock themselves out of their spell and trap card zone, which you really can't afford to do since almost 50% of this deck is spell cards. Unfortunately, he draws a crystal that he already has, so what he's going to do is he's going to play rare value, and this is going to do 2 things for him. 1, Dimitri picks which of his crystals goes to the graveyard, so you're going to free up an additional space, and then you're also going to get to go draw 2 cards for yourself. So you're digging a little bit deeper. He did manage to draw 2 trap cards, and one of which is actually really amazing, because this can be a comeback card that could allow him to go into a 4,000 attack fusion monster. I believe he does have a second copy of Amethyst Cat in his deck, so he should be able to get that off, hopefully. And Topaz Tiger can raise its own attack points to 2,000, but unfortunately, Dimitri has the magical dimension. So when you have a spellcaster on your field, you can tribute any monster on your field to play another spellcaster and then destroy an opponent's monster. So he's going to tribute his Gaia, his charging Gaia, in order to bring out the skilled blue magician, and now Topaz Tiger is destroyed. And that's amazing because when charging Gaia gets tributed, you can search for a Blackluster Soldier monster. So now Dimitri has access to 2 of the strongest monsters in his entire deck, and Jesse really just doesn't stand a chance. There goes his one hope of really trying to survive this. But just in case, you know, Dimitri over there is going to really pop off, go crazy, kind of flex unnecessarily. And that is game for round 1. Oh my god, no, he's fusion summoning now in the battle phase. What the fuck? The disrespect is real. Okay, round 1 was an absolute slaughter. Hopefully round 2 goes a lot better. And it does look like Jesse opened up significantly better with his 2 best trap cards, one of his best monsters, and an amazing spell card. On the other hand, it looks like Dimitri bricked this time, so I don't know. Let's see if he can, you know, clean himself up here. The Dark Magic Circle will let him look at the top 3 cards of his deck, and he can put them in any order he wants. He can only do this once, I believe. Yeah, okay, so here in the log we can see his top 3 were his Field Spell, the Skilled Dark Magician, and the Dark Magician Girl. So we have no idea what order he decided to put them in, but that's what he had. So he has to set and pass. Now, okay, now he has access to his 2 best monsters. Jesse's going to activate the Crystal Bond, and he's going to search for his Zenith Crystal Beast, which now, you know, he had time to swap cards in between the rounds, so now he has access to this. So he has a 3,000 attack monster that will be able to summon itself for free really soon, and he's going to go ahead and put the Cobalt Eagle there because that's a monster you don't typically really want to draw. So here's the Sapphire Pegasus to put a Topaz Tiger in the Crystal Zone. That way, you know, Ruby Carbuncle has something he can really try to capitalize off of. Unfortunately, he's not going to kill this turtle because they're tied, but thankfully for Jesse, he has the Zenith Crystal, and now I believe he can pass over. Yeah. So on Dimitri's turn, he chose to put the Skill Dark first, which I don't blame him. That can help him swing over, but that unfortunately bites him in the ass because when a Crystal Beast gets destroyed, you can use Ultimate Crystal Magic. You can throw away one of all of the 7 Crystal Beasts from your hand, your deck, or your field, in order to summon the fusion version of the Rainbow Dragon, the Rainbow Over Dragon. And not only is this a fat 4,000 beat stick that can increase its own attack points equal to a Crystal Beast in your graveyard, but it can also like completely reset the field by sacrificing itself during either player's turn. So if Dimitri were to somehow turn this around, he would have to be able to push through an entire board wipe on top of making this, huge comeback for himself. Crystal Conclave is going to make that significantly more difficult as well, because by tributing the trap card itself, you can send a Crystal Beast on your field and a card on your opponent's field back to the hand. So now he lost his only defense on the board, and that's actually going to be it because it was Dimitri's turn. I just realized that. Wow, he did a lot on the opponent's turn. So I guess he's really just going to sit here and show off. He could normal summon if he wanted to, but no, he's going to banish something, and that is not game yet because of the Electromagnetic Turtle. I don't know how I forgot it's the only card in the damn graveyard. Gateway to Chaos to search a Gaia monster. So Lord Gaia the Fierce Knight can be, I believe, special summoned? Yes, when your opponent has monsters and you don't. And it could raise its attack to 3,000, so it could maybe swing over the Zenith Crystal, but like crashing into each other, that I don't know, he screwed either way. So skilled Dark Magician's here though, so he can go ahead and was that a misplay? I think that was a misplay. I think he could have, yeah, he could have swung into that, they would have been tied, and then he could have killed the tiger. So wow, Dimitri really kind of fucked that up. He could have maybe extended his life in this game. Never mind, nope, I forgot, Ruby Carbuncle. So Crystal Blessing lets you put 2 crystals in your graveyard as crystals. And Ruby Carbuncle's effect activates, so here comes all the monsters. So, yeah, Dimitri misplayed, but it didn't matter anyways. It's really fucked. And I think that's enough for game? No, not yet. Not yet. So he gets one more turn, but we all know... Oh, okay, no, he shuffled his deck, and he bricked. Jesus. Okay, round 3. And it looks like Jesse has a awkward hand now. If he gets a single Crystal Beast monster, though, if he can manage to summon this or, draw a Crystal Beast, then he'll be able to capitalize. But for right now, he has nothing to work with. Meanwhile, Dimitri has the Magician's Rod to search for a Dark Magician spell or trap card. So he's going to get that quick play from round 1 that lets him fusion summon during the goddamn battle phase. And he's going to hold on to Graceful Charity. And that's honestly smart because it's tempting to want to say, hey, this is a game where I want to get through my cards as quickly as possible. You also don't want to do that unless you have at least one card you're going to be willing to throw away. And I guess he doesn't want to be too quick to sacrifice his Lord Gaia in case, he gets his monster destroyed or something. So just a swing for 1,600 before passing it back to Jesse. Oh, he bricked again. Okay. So Dimitri's just going to get a lot more damage off Dark Magic Circle to stack his top 3, get a counter, Graceful Charity, now that he knows his top 3, and he knows what he wants to throw away. Then Skilled Blue to put another counter on it. So here is the Dark Magician again, goddamn. And when you summon the Dark Magician while Dark Magic Circle's on the field, you get to remove from play any card on your opponent's field, and unfortunately for Jesse, he banished the Ultimate Crystal Magic. So that's insanely unfortunate. And the sad part about that is, even if he got it off and got to summon his fusion, he would have lost it the very next turn, either because it would have sacrificed itself or it would have been banished. So really sucks for Jesse. This is, I guess, his this is the final turn. Holy shit. Wow. Another. Oh man, that's game. Dimitri wins.
Turn your appearance to a disappearance. I fuck with nothing but gangsters, nothing but hustler niggas. Sound off, sound off.